Okay, so we are recording. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, there we go. I see that we have recorded. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you so much. My name's Nikki. I'm the Chief Wellness Coordinator at Reality Wellness. I'm also an organizational psychologist. So today we are going to straight into the Women's Day talk. Thank you so much to everyone and for your patience for waiting for the session to start. As you can tell, there's still a lot of people still joining in today's session. So we are just hoping that everyone will settle in fairly quickly. With that said, just to start off today's session, we would just like to remind you all, that we are here for you. If there's anything that does come up in today's session that maybe, for example, triggering or something that you realize that you might need a bit of support on, please remember that you do have Reality Wellness here to support you. Our numbers will be at the end of the presentation as just a quick reminder. Please also note that there is a prize. So if you haven't already seen it in your emailer, we will run through what is the prize for today and what you have to do exactly in order to receive that prize. So please listen in and also just follow through on that. And then lastly, just a reminder that during the weekends, we do have quite a few workshops that are going on. So for example, this week, sorry, someone keeps muting me. So this weekend we have the divorce workshop. We also have a grief support group that we run every first and third Saturday of the month. And then please just look out for any other workshops that are going to be happening in the next couple months. We're looking at a parenting workshop. We're doing our relationship workshops as well. So please look out for any comms relating to any other workshops that are coming in the weekends to come. Okay, I see someone's hand is up. I don't know if it's a mistake, Cindy.
Hi, morning. Sorry, I think that people are muting you by mistake because we're all trying to put this beeping sound off, but it's not going off.
Yeah, the
So,
beeping sound is like a notification to say
yeah,
that people are joining in, and I think it's a setting on each of our own sides. Otherwise, if Christina can just double check on her side if there's a way to change the setting for the meeting
please,
itself,
yeah.
but I
Because
have no
I've tried,
idea.
I think we're all trying to, I've clicked on settings, I've clicked on more, then settings and mute notifications. It's not working. The beeping is still coming through.
Okay, let me have a look on my side, and then we'll go ahead in the next few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Hi, Nicole, I see your hand up.
Oh, oh, sorry, I struggled to unmute myself. I just wanted to ask about, you said that there are workshops running, and I want to know because I find a lot of the times when we have these type of things, it's Joburg specific. Is it all
It's
around
virtual.
Cape Town or how is it virtual?
Yes, they're all
Okay,
virtual,
then.
all virtual.
Okay.
So you can access it in from wherever you are. You will receive the comms either from your comms person or from your HR, whoever will be sending it out. Obviously, if you're not getting those communications, you can just contact us directly, and we can just let you know about the workshops
Mm,
for the month. And
okay.
then obviously you can just let us know. Those Saturday workshops are open to the public, so you can even send them to a family member or a friend if you think would benefit from them too.
Okay, and if we want to communicate the fact that we're not receiving it, then
So
how
you
would we
can
communicate it?
refer that. Sorry, you can refer that to marketing@realitywellness.co.za. I will put it in the chat for you. So you can just email her and just let her know you're not receiving the communication. And then she'll obviously just let you know what there is for the month.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. I'm going to put it in the chat for you now. Here we go. Okay, so I think it's calmed down a little bit. In terms of the beeping, I don't know, Christina, if you've had a look on your side, if there's any way to remove the beeping sound.
I have clicked on mute notifications on my side. Seems to not do anything different. So I have put a message on the chat for each individual to do the same.
Okay, I just want to have a look here quickly. Okay, cool. So I think that has calmed down a little bit. So thank you so much. I do apologize for the beeping sound. I think it's just because there's so many people joining in at the moment. But yeah, I think we can now hand over to Chanelle. So we're going to get started. So with that said, so Chanelle Zackey Prinsloo is a multi-award winning marketer. She is also the National Marketing Director for Ferrari South Africa. She has a significant and successful track record when it comes to marketing in the luxury and automotive sectors for the last 10 years. As a woman, she is someone who talks about a little bit about what it's like to go up the corporate ladder in a male-dominated industry. She is highly passionate about coaching and empowering the youth, and also for women of our generation and how to lead the way forward. With that said, Chanelle works with a lot of individuals, groups, and organizations just to amplify their authenticity and professional pursuits, while also empowering them to become the best versions of themselves. So thank you so much, Chanelle, for joining today, and thank you so much for running today's session. You can run with it.
Thank you. Sorry, I was on mute there. Thank you so much, Nicolette, for the wonderful introduction.
Hi, Chanelle. Sorry, you muted.
Can you hear me now? Great, thanks, guys. I don't know why it keeps going on mute. I think we're having some technical issues here. But thank you very much, Nicolette, for the introduction, and a very big thank you to all of you. I see we have a very big attendance here today and a very big house. And what better way to kickstart Women's Day tomorrow than with all of your beautiful and bold faces online. I am very, very excited to be here today, and I'm looking forward to spending some time going through today's session, but also hearing your insights and your feedback from this empowerment platform. And just a very big thank you to Reality Wellness and the whole team for creating such impactful platforms, you know, for us women to thrive in. So without further ado, welcome, and we can get started. So as you would have seen on the teasers that were sent out, today is all about unlocking your full potential as a woman. And I think, you know, as an individual, it's something that we're constantly working on, but we're going to be deep diving into some aspects of this today. So I'm looking forward to going through the presentation and the slides with you. And if you have any questions or you've got anything to share, please, this is not just about me speaking to you today or for Reality Wellness speaking to you. We want to hear from you as well, and we want to hear your insights and your stories. So I think Nicolette covered everything, but as she mentioned, I am a very passionate individual. I'm very passionate about empowerment and making sure that people reach their full potential in the opportunities that they've been given. I'm currently the National Marketing Director at Ferrari South Africa. I started as a junior right at the bottom. I was first a receptionist when I first started out in the industry because I couldn't find any prospects for work or any opportunities. So I started right at the bottom of corporate, and over a series of 10 to 12 years, I've managed to work my way to where I am today. I've won several awards, and I'm extremely excited to share a little bit more with you about what I've learned and what I've gauged going forward. I feel that there's some feedback in the background.
It's on mute again. It's on mute again.
Chantal, you muted.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Sorry, there was some feedback there. I don't know why it keeps muting.
Can the meeting organizer not mute everybody?
I'll ask her to do it.
Okay, cool.
Thanks. Sorry, I'm not too sure where we got to there.
It's happened again. You muted again. Perhaps people need to kill videos.
I'll stop mine. Okay, maybe that's a bit better. I've turned my camera off for now.
I think you should be fine if your camera's on. Perhaps everybody else. It would be nice.
Hi there. So, yeah, I think if there is an issue with bandwidth, I think if everyone can switch off their cameras, that would just make things a little bit simpler. So I've switched off mine. Everyone just make sure. I see there's 1 or 2 more people still with their cameras on. Chanelle, you can keep yours on. That's not a problem at all. And then I see that you're no longer sharing your screen. So you can share your screen again. That should be fine. I see someone has mentioned that they see nothing. I see if you're not seeing anything or not hearing anything, you might have to just check your setting.
We can see the screen now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I see the screen on my side. Thank you, Chanelle. Yeah, everything good on our side. Anyone else having issues? I see everyone else can see and hear. Okay, perfect. Okay, Chanelle, you can go ahead. Muted.
I don't know why it keeps muting. I'm not jumping over to anything else. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, and now?
Clear,
We
Chanelle.
can.
Yes, we can hear you, Chanelle.
Great.
Yes,
can you let
see.
me know where we cut off from? Where can I continue from?
You were on this slide.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, guys, sorry, this is this is part of the beauty of technology and the frustration that comes with it. But we can move on swiftly now. I think as long as we are all on the same page, that's the main thing throughout this session. So we thought really, we thought of making this really special for you and for all the women that are present here today. And we've given it some thought as to what we want to be able to give back to our audiences participating in today's empowerment talk. So now is your time to win. So Reality Wellness and myself have put together a very exclusive package and a very exclusive prize to the value of 5,000 Rand that you can win today during this empowerment seminar. So in order to win this very limited edition gift bag and experience, we've given you some steps as to what to do to enter the competition. The first step is to follow myself, Chanelle Zackey Prinsloo, and Reality Wellness Group on social media. The platforms that will be applicable are Instagram and LinkedIn. Those are the 2 platforms that we're going to be running the campaign on. So I'm hoping that you all have an Instagram page or a LinkedIn page or both. And the entire campaign is run around the fact that we would like you to share your favorite part of today's empowerment talk and tag us so that we can track your application, and use the hashtag unlock your full potential. We will be closing this competition on Friday, the 11th of August, so that we can try and get you your gifts as soon as possible. And we obviously want to make sure that as many of you apply throughout this competition. So throughout this talk, just make some notes. I hope that you take something from it that inspires you and that prompts you to unlock your full potential as we go through this seminar together. All right, we'll come back to the slide a bit later if anybody needs to take more notes. All right, ladies, so again, welcome and thank you all. It is really such an exciting time to be a woman in this era. And I think wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just stop and say to yourself, or say in a group, if you're in a room, I know there's a couple of you that are screening this, what a time it is to be alive, and what a time it is to be a woman. And
from my side, as I said, you know, I feel that with situations being as they are, it is extremely, extremely wonderful to be a woman in this day and age. We have a world of opportunities at our feet, and together women are climbing, you know, the ladders in corporate. They are taking on empires. They are running families. They're creating homes. They are being wives, mothers, daughters, sisters, and they are thriving in those environments. So from my side, it's extremely, it's a big privilege to be a woman, and I think that all of us should take this opportunity to optimize on it, especially as we're leaning towards Women's Day tomorrow. A quote from Hillary Clinton that really resonated with me was when she said, "Women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world." And that speaks volumes. It's no secret that women are remarkable and are relentless, and that you have the ability to deliver under pressure in all different circumstances, but you have the ability to multitask and take on several different roles in your day-to-day. And it's not just how I feel personally about how powerful women are in this day and age, but it's also in statistics. There's been several studies, and I've done quite a bit of research on it through the corporate space. And according to a study done by McKinsey, the most gender diverse companies, so the companies that employ women and that have top management as women, are 21% more profitable than above average. So while it shows that having women on board can boost productivity and profitability, women are the greatest talent and the greatest asset that any team can have, any household can have, any family can have. So I just wanted to obviously remind you in this introduction how amazing it is to be a woman in this day and age, and how privileged we are to share this space together. So if we are the icons of the future, what are we as females doing to unlock and to capitalize on our full potential? And that's what basically today's talk is about. So I'd like to show you a slide where we discuss the wheel of unlimited potential. And in this wheel are some prompts and some aspects in which one can utilize to ensure that they are meeting their full potential in their personal lives, in their professional lives, in their health and wellness, basically in all aspects of your life as it stands. So this morning is all about asking yourself, have you reached your full potential? And it's definitely a question that got me thinking. And I know that in many aspects, life is a continuous evolution of growing and evolving and learning. So I would like to believe that I haven't yet reached my full potential. And I still think that there is a lot that we as women can do and can thrive in. And part of this process is understanding where we can improve and where we can elevate our lives to reaching our optimal potential as women in this day and age. So if you want to write this question down, I would definitely encourage you just to take a note and just have a moment to reflect. And if you feel that you have reached your full potential, then this presentation maybe will spark something different for you when we come towards the end of it. So hang in there and just wait till the end so that we can share your thoughts and your inputs. So moving forward, as we go deep dive into the wheel of unlimited potential, just before we start, Sheryl Sandberg, she's one of my favorite authors, and she was the COO of Facebook. She once said that no industry or country can reach its full potential until women reach their full potential. And I said this to my husband the other day, and I am by no means a feminist that discourages men in this world. I fully appreciate the fact that women and men have their strengths in the world, but I do believe that countries and companies will be able to thrive when women reach their full potential. And the reason I say that is I actually joked with my husband the other day, and I said, where women reign, there seems to be less drama. There is more opportunity to give. There's more opportunities to share. There's more opportunities for women to thrive. And there seems to be a lot more compassion and empathy given out there. So I do want to see women taking their place in society and doing more for a greater cause. And by all means, as I said, across all platforms, in your households, in your businesses, in this country, I'd like to see more women taking a seat at the table and owning their space. because I do believe that where women are, there's a lot more harmony and there's a lot more productivity that gets done. So just a very inspiring quote, and I think that it's something that we can all think about during this Women's Day, or during the month of Women's Month. And now we can take a look and an insight as to how to unlock our full potential as women. So the first step would be to elevate your goals. And I know that goal setting is somewhat cliche to some people, but I do believe in creating aspirations for yourself that you want to achieve in your life. And they can be personal, they can be professional, whatever the case is. The first step to elevating your life is to elevate your goals. So again, as we enter Women's Month and the last half of 2023, I think it's a good idea just to spend some time in solitude, or whenever you have a gap, reflecting on your personal and professional lives and where you feel you can improve. And whatever your current goals are, whatever they are sitting at currently, I want you to elevate your thinking, and I want you to elevate your expectations, and I want you to elevate those goals. I don't want you to feel that your dreams are too unattainable, or that they're not achievable, or they're not practical. Imagine yourself with no limitations and don't hold yourself back. You need to decide what you want to do before you decide if it's possible. And I think it's always very powerful to write down these goals and aspirations, so that at some point in time you can come back and reflect on how far you've gone. But by limiting yourself, you're actually cutting yourself short from a world of opportunity that may lie before you. So whatever you're working on currently, don't hesitate to make those dreams even bigger and make those expectations even bigger. And that's part of elevating this experience and unlocking your full potential. We don't want small-minded people in this world. We want people with big dreams, big goals, because that's where the passion and our zest for life comes in. So take some time and decide what it is that you want to elevate in your life and in your goals. Okay, second to that is obviously, in order to unlock your full potential, a key factor here would be to prioritize your mental and physical health. And I think the most basic way to start is definitely by applying what we call the RED method, which is a combination of rest, as you all know, exercise to de-stress and to release those endorphins, and obviously following a balanced diet, because a combination of those three will make sure and ensure that you as an individual have the capacity, and that you have the stamina and longevity to endure what life throws at you. So please, ladies, I know that, and men, whoever may be present on this talk, it's extremely important to prioritize your mental and physical health above all. And practicing self-care involves several different aspects. And I see on the chat earlier today, there were a few of you that were planning on having a day of self-care, and I think it's extremely important. It may involve meditating, taking a bubble bath, maybe, you know, going for a coffee with your sister. It may involve maybe a bit of a walk in nature, or spending time outdoors, or participating in a hobby or another interest that you love. But it's so important for us to refresh our minds and to restore our strength with activities that are non-work related, and things that we enjoy, and things that we can pursue as opposed from our day-to-day norm, just so that we can feel refreshed and inspired again. Another part of prioritizing your mental and physical health would definitely to be able to say that you need to set boundaries as an individual. I've had to learn this the hard way, unfortunately, because I am a people pleaser by nature. And it's really hard sometimes when you want to be able to agree to every obligation that comes your way and every opportunity that comes your way. But you are only one person, and it's impossible to say yes to everything. You've got to pick and choose your battles carefully, and pick and choose the projects that you feel are going to be the most fulfilling for you at the end of the day. So learning to say no is an art, and it takes some time, but I think with practice, it's definitely something that can be pursued. Going hand in hand with that, I would definitely say to limit screen time. As individuals living in this era, we are constantly connected to the digital presence around us, whether it be our cell phones, our laptops, TV screens. We are consumed by digital constantly. So I do feel that it's extremely important that we limit that time and just take a step back and look around you. There's so much that life has to offer apart from what is offered on our digital devices and our digital screens. And I am a huge advocate for social media, as we'll discuss a little bit later on, but limiting that screen time and finding a balance and finding time to just disconnect is extremely important for your mental health as well. And then last but not least, but I think it's also a very important aspect of prioritizing your mental well-being, is to cultivate positive social connections and seek support facing mental health challenges or stress. As human beings, we are social creatures, and we need to have fulfilling relationships and strong connections with individuals so that we feel a sense of belonging. So organizations such as Reality Wellness address all facets of well-being and can guide you and help you in that process. And if any of you, as Nicolette mentioned earlier, if any of you feel that you're lacking or there's any triggering emotions, we would definitely encourage you to reach out and to chat to their experts, their team of experts, so that they can guide you and help you in the best way possible and give you the support that you need. But as I said, we as humans are social creatures, so don't ever feel the need to go through anything alone or go through it in isolation. It's extremely important that we cultivate those positive social connections, and that when you leave a room or you leave a conversation with somebody, you feel inspired by them and you feel motivated by your conversation with them. You know, I always say to my friends, you know, you should always leave a conversation or leave a room feeling good and positive about yourself, never feeling that emotion of negativity and inadequacy. So there are a lot of support groups. As I said, Reality Wellness is the main one, and I would like you all just to take some time and just reflect on your social connections that you're endeavoring at the moment in order to prioritize your mental health and physical health. Okay, going on to investing in continuous learning. As I mentioned earlier in the introduction, part of us unlocking our full potential is a constant benchmark of learning more about ourselves, learning more about our areas of expertise, learning more about our industries, learning more as individuals. You know, we all go through different seasons in life. I am currently expecting, and this is my first baby. So I'm currently going through what we call the mom era. And I'm learning so much about myself. I'm learning a lot about my body. I'm learning a lot about my mental health. I'm learning a lot as to how to prioritize my family and my health over my work. And we're constantly evolving as humans. So I think it's extremely important when we want to unlock our full potential that we take advantage of online platforms, webinars, workshops, seminars like today, just to make sure that we're totally and consciously in touch with areas that we can improve on in our lives. I don't claim to know everything, and I don't think any of us do. Life is a continuous series of learning, and by that, you know, we'll be able to grow more and further ourselves as individuals. So part of unlocking your full potential is to make sure that you use the platforms available, read books, listen to podcasts. I've put on here that we should Google it, because I do believe that there's nothing that we can't learn on Google, and that we should volunteer and take on challenging projects, even if it means throwing ourselves in the deep end a little bit and figuring it out from there. I do believe that by us challenging ourselves in those ways, we grow more as individuals. So very crucial aspect of unlocking your full potential. Be conscious of where you're at currently and how you can expand yourself just by learning what's going on around you. Okay, going on to the next slide. All right, the next aspect in unlocking your full potential would be to embrace self-confidence. And I know after having several years of dealing with women in my industry and in several other industries, it's very common that women tend to suffer from what we call imposter syndrome. And a study by KPMG finds that 75% of female executives across all industries, so they're not specifying industries, it's across the board, have experienced some level of imposter syndrome at some point in their careers and personal lives. And imposter syndrome is basically a feeling of inadequacy and self-doubt that makes you continuously wonder if you're good enough at what you do and if you're good enough in the role that you've been given, whether that be a mother, a daughter, a businesswoman, a sister, whatever the role is. Those feelings of self-doubt are relevant and they are common. Despite having the education or the qualifications and the training, it's sometimes hard to feel comfortable and to see our worth. But I need you to all know that suffering from imposter syndrome it's normal, and I don't want you to give into it because it will cap you from fulfilling your full potential. So I know sometimes in my personal experience, when I started out in the industry as a woman in a male dominant company and a male dominant industry, I often felt I had to work longer hours, work double just to prove myself. And it was extremely tiring and extremely taxing. But I do feel that once I felt that imposter syndrome was no longer dominating, my presence in the workplace, I was able to thrive and to actually just enjoy being a woman and embracing my strengths as a woman in the work environment. So a big part of that, as I said, is not giving into this imposter syndrome. And again, if you ever feel those feelings of self-doubt and feelings of insecurity, I do encourage you to speak to organizations such as Reality Wellness and speak to support groups that can help you navigate around it. And going further into that, in terms of bracing your self-confidence, harnessing the power of your body language and dressing for success, I think are key aspects in boosting your confidence in any aspect of your life. I do believe that being in the corporate environment, first impressions do count. And I know that when a person is feeling confident and when they're well dressed, they immediately demand authority when they're in a room, and they actually have a presence about them. And that comes out in the level of confidence. And it's extremely important that if you want to be noticed and you want to be recognized, that you have to show that you belong there. And the only way you can do that is by showing your confidence. Your body language is also another tool that is there to empower you. So again, as women, by nature, we tend to be a lot more meek and a lot more humble. We don't want to be too bombastic or too arrogant, and that is totally normal. But again, there's a balance between being confident and being overly confident and arrogant. So find a balance. Again, it's a topic that we can deep dive into at a future stage where we talk about the importance of body language and dressing for success. But how you feel about yourself perceives how others, basically it shows how others perceive us. So when we feel more confident, others will perceive us as strong, others will perceive us as credible, and others will perceive us as talented women who are out there to make a difference and that can succeed in the roles that they've been given. So the last part of embracing self-confidence, and I speak again from personal experience here, is to limit your comparisons and celebrate personal growth and achievements. Again, nobody is you, and that is your competitive advantage. That is what you bring to the table. Nobody is you, and that is your competitive advantage. Again, we are in an era of the digital age, where we're constantly comparing ourselves to friends and family and celebrities on social media. But again, don't give into that. Don't limit yourself by comparing yourself to others. Every journey is different. Every journey is unique, and we all have a unique and a wonderful story to share. But comparing it to anybody else's or trying to copy it or replicate what anybody else has got is going to limit us from unlocking our true potential. And another part that we'll discuss a bit later is to celebrate your achievements. But we'll get into that a little bit later in this talk as well. Actually, it's coming up in the next slide, which is to advocate for yourself. Now, I know again, as women, we are by nature and by DNA, we're a lot more humble in our way. We're a lot more gentle. We don't like to boast. We don't like to brag about ourselves. But advocating for yourself is slightly different. It's actually taking self-advocacy to another level. And the irony is that women actually excel at advocating for other women. And this is why I say, no country or no company can thrive until women thrive, is because women are great at self-advocating for other women. You know, they'll go to the extremes of communicating why other women are so good at what they do, why they're so beautiful, you know, how well they dress, what a great mother they are, what a great businesswoman they are. Women are so open to advocating for each other, but when it comes to advocating for themselves, we all tend to struggle here a little bit. So part of this discussion and part of today's aspect is to actually speak a little bit about yourself and to use your voice. You know, I think women need to get a little bit noisier on behalf of themselves. I think we need to talk about ourselves a little bit more and what we've achieved and what we've endured. And by that, we can definitely show that self-advocacy is actually normal. You know, it just doesn't mean that we're arrogant in any way or that we're big-headed or we're boastful, but it actually just says that we're true to ourselves and that we're proud of what we've achieved so far. So one of the ways that you can advocate for yourself is by using your social media pages to your advantage and building a personal brand that is authentic, something that is truthful and something that is honest and true to yourself. This is also a topic that I can elaborate on in future, but for now, the main aspect is to use the platforms that have been given to us, especially the likes of Instagram and LinkedIn. It's basically platforms that welcome self-advocacy. They welcome us to share our accomplishments, share our milestones, share the achievements that we've you know, accomplished on our journey so far. So embrace them. Don't feel shy and don't feel threatened, or don't feel, again, you know, inadequate that you're being too boastful or big-headed by putting out there what your achievements are. And it can be big and small achievements. Make them known to the world. If you got awarded Employee of the Month, put that on social media and explain your journey, because there is somebody that's watching that is going to be inspired by that. And further to that, you're creating a personal brand for yourself. You don't know who's watching you at the end of the day. You don't know which companies, which organizations, which individuals are actually being inspired and prompted by your story and by your successes, that will allow them to further themselves going forward. The other area is obviously to communicate simply and with grace and confidence, and gratitude. Again, you know, we don't want to come across as arrogance. It's not in our nature as women to come across that way, but we need to find a line to communicate our messages, especially on the likes of social media, with confidence, but with grace and gratitude at the same time. And we need to be authentic, and assertive obviously go hand in hand, but we need to be real and we need to be honest. I am, as I said, it's my first pregnancy, and I think I've used Google more than any person can even imagine. I've literally Googled every possible aspect of this pregnancy, and I feel like even on social media, you know, the realness and the rawness of women going through their pregnancy journeys is not truly authentic, you know, and a lot of women struggle, and a lot of women actually find pregnancy quite difficult for them. It's a huge adjustment for your body. It's a huge adjustment in your life, and I feel that honestly, people are not very authentic. That, you know, some people make it sound like it's all bells and whistles and it's, you know, rainbows and sunshine. Whereas it's actually, for me, it's been quite a struggle to get to this point. You know, I've been quite ill, and I've, you know, suffered from some serious first trimester side effects, and it's been very challenging on me. And again, I went through some other personal things during the course of my pregnancy and through it so far. And it's been challenging. You know, I would have really loved to have seen other women sharing raw and honest opinions about what they went through, so that I don't feel so isolated and that I didn't feel so alone in all of this, you know, because it can be overwhelming when you're trying to make sure that your pregnancy is your priority, but you're navigating home life and work life and trying to be a good wife and trying to be a good employee. It sometimes does become overwhelming. But again, by self-advocating and by being truthful and honest, we can unlock our full potential as women in this environment as well. And yeah, as I said, you know, becoming your own personal brand has its own challenges, obviously, and becoming an individual that wants to use their story to inspire is also something that we'll touch on a bit later. But I definitely encourage all of you as women here today to advocate for yourself, and don't be afraid to do so. Going on, as I said, you know, there's a lot of challenges that we face as women. I'm currently going through several personal ones at the moment, but again, in order for us to unlock our full potential, one skill that women have is the ability to be flexible. So the more we can embrace change, and flexibility is an essential part of resilience, the more we can embrace that change and the more flexible we can become, the easier we become to adapt to situations and circumstances. So it's extremely important for us not to tire out and to always be open to change, and embrace it in the best way possible. It's extremely important for us to stay optimistic and take new perspectives on a matter, especially when we're feeling tired and we're feeling defeated in maybe personal aspects or professional aspects. Acknowledge that setbacks are temporary and that no journey is straightforward. It would actually be a very boring situation if our lives were smooth sailing, from beginning to end. What makes life so enthralling and what makes life so exciting and surprising is the ups and downs that we go through, and acknowledging that even the setbacks, the times where we feel discouraged, the times that we feel demotivated, whenever we feel like we aren't good enough, those are moments where we need to pick up the pieces, remind ourselves of who we are and what we're capable of achieving, and move forward to conquering the next challenge that you face. And reminding yourselves that you have all the resources that you need as an individual to combat the challenges you face. We are all well equipped. As I said, we've got support systems, you've got networks, you've got people out there who are willing to help you. And just you as an individual, if you spend enough time reflecting, you'll realize that you do have all that it takes to face the challenges that you're enduring, and that you'll be able to develop more resilience and tenacity as you endure onto the next season in life. So a big part of unlocking your full potential is understanding that we are going to go, we will go through challenges, but we need to develop that resilience and tenacity in order to conquer them. And then going into our next topic is to build a support network. Once again, I am extremely passionate about empowering women, because I do see a longevity in women supporting women. There are a lot of women that have come back to assist me and support me and help me achieve my goals. And just by giving forward and giving to others, I've been blessed to receive assistance and support from my network. Some being women, some being men in this case. But it's extremely important to value your connections and your contacts. There's that quote that says your network is your net worth. And I truly believe that. You never know when you're going to need somebody along the line. And men and women alike, treat all people as you would like to be treated. And you'll be able to see that by building that support networks, when you need to call in a favor, it could be with somebody that you met at a women's empowerment breakfast 2 years ago, but perhaps 2 years later, you actually need her assistance for something. Maybe it's to find your child a job, or to give you an entrance into a new career field, or whatever the case may be. That woman that you spoke to and that you met might be able to take you to the next level. And I say that because it's a women's empowerment talk, but the same goes for your male counterparts and your male contacts as well. You never know who's going to help you achieve your next goal. So be authentic again, and be sincere. Again, you don't want to brush off anybody that you feel is, they annoy me because they're always asking for favors. You never know when the tables might turn, and that the roles are reversed, and that you need to call in a favor with them. So I do believe in the power of sound relationships and mutually beneficial relationships, but focus on building long-standing relations and bonds. The word bond is actually crucial in this, because it's not just somebody that you're going to get something out of, once off and then forget about them. Build relationships with them. Ask them how they're doing. Do they need assistance? Do they need support? See how their day is going. How's their sick grandmother doing? How are their children doing in school? You can speak about the struggles that you've shared at work, but build open and honest and long-standing relationship with others and with the network around you, because I promise you now that will be your building block to taking your personal and professional life to the next level. And it's also part of unlocking your full potential, is by utilizing the people around you, and making sure that as they thrive, you thrive. And then going on to our last slide, this is one of the last topics on the wheel of unlimited potential, is to use your story to inspire. And for me, this is probably one of the most crucial aspects. Like I said earlier, if you ever have felt that you've reached your full potential and that you're happy with your life as it is and you've done what you need to do, you're ready to, you know, call it a day and you're happy to sit back and not make, you know, not endeavor to take on anything else, this is your time to use your story to inspire. And even if you're not there, even if you're like me, where I feel that I've still got a lot of my potential to unlock, I'd like you guys to use your story to inspire. Be open and honest with others about the challenges you have overcome. Your unique story, with all its ups and downs, with all its beauty and its messy parts, is truly what will inspire others. And it's truly what's probably holding you back from reaching the next level. Sharing your story, as I have many times before in corporate, can make you feel extremely vulnerable. It's not always easy sharing parts of you that made you feel very weak and very vulnerable at times. But by sharing those moments, those good and bad moments with individuals, you connect with others on a deeper level. And by doing that, you inspire them. And just remembering that those stories that you're sharing with them can help define others and can give them motivation and the encouragement to carry on. You know, you never know what somebody is going through until you deep dive into their life and understand their story. And the challenges that you've overcome, you've done and you've walked through, and it inspires the next person and encourages the next person to know that it's possible. You know, so your authentic self is what's important, and it's extremely, like I said, for me, it's been a part of my personal brand building, is to share what's been a challenge to me and to help others navigate those challenges. It's also, I've felt like I've learned a lot more about myself by sharing that story. So I would encourage you as individuals today and through this Women's Day, through Women's Month, to use digital platforms like your blogs and your vlogs, and social media platforms especially, to share messages of hope and encouragement and empowerment with others. Because as Maya Angelou knows, and I mean, she was an icon in her own right, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. So in summary, for today's empowerment talk of how to unlock your full potential, I do believe that part of unlocking it will be to use your story to inspire others. So in summary, I hope that the wheel of unlimited potential has left you with some thoughts of where we can still grow as individuals and where we can still unlock our full potential. Again, you know, we are so privileged to be women in this day and age, and we have a plethora of opportunities ahead of us, and each of us is designed to thrive and designed to excel. And I never want us as women to forget how far we've come as individuals and how bright our futures do look. Once again, it wouldn't be possible without the help of our support teams, and especially today's talk without the endorsement of Reality Wellness. So a big thank you to them. Their team is always here for you, as we mentioned earlier, to just ensure that you are doing well, and that if you ever need guidance and you ever need support, they're there to assist you and to guide you along the way, because it can be overwhelming. You know, life is, as I said, it's not a straight line. We go through many ups and downs. So there are their contact details if you ever feel that you need to get in touch with them. That is their support group. And yeah, as I said, from my side, I'm looking forward to staying in contact with you on social media and on other platforms. And if you ever feel that you can reach out to me to share your story, or that I can help in any way, please do. I really do share passion for helping others and empowering others. So if you ever feel that, you know, we can learn from each other, please do get in touch. And again, as I said earlier today, this is not just about me giving you insights and feedback, but we want to hear your voice as well. So I think we can open up the platform now for you guys to share your thoughts and any inspiring stories that you have. And if you've also got any questions, you know, we'll gladly answer them during this the next 10-15 minutes. So again, don't forget to enter for the competition if you'd like to win. I am, as I said, I'm the host for the competition. So when you do win that exclusive Ferrari hamper, I will be coordinating a private showroom tour for you, as well as a gift bag to the value of 5,000 Rand. So once again, don't forget to tag Reality Wellness and Chanelle Zackey Prinsloo on Instagram or LinkedIn, and basically highlight your favorite parts of today's talk. So without further ado, we'll come back to the last challenge of the day a little bit later. But Nicolette and team, if you want to open up the platform, let's see what the others have to share.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chanelle. And sorry to you and sorry to everyone. I know that beeping was driving everybody nuts. So I did put in the chat that to beep back into all of your good books. We are offering 10 sorbet vouchers worth 250 Rand each. And I'll be asking a few questions in the chat. The first person to respond to that question will receive a sorbet voucher. So we'll obviously get the top 10. There's about 4 questions that I've selected. So obviously we'll be looking at the first 2 or 3 or so. With that said, while we are in the conversation, please can you let us know, just share your story. If you have any questions for Chanelle specifically as well, please just let us know. You can either raise your hand or alternatively, you can make use of the chat. I'm just going to have a look and see if there's any questions so far. I'm just running through the chat quickly. Okay, someone asked if you could just please show the first slide again. I'm assuming that's the competition slide.
Sure, let's go back. Is it this slide, the time to win? We can get a...
It might be. Yeah, I think that could be the right one.
Perfect.
Okay, I see a hand up. Let me just have a quick look. Sorry, it's taking a bit of time. To Nico.
Good day, everyone. I just want to find out, do you have this teaching in recordings?
Yes, this has been recorded.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Any other things? I can just say from my side, what really stood out was the fact that, you know, we need to build each other up. I really like one of the comments, which is to fix each other's crowns. I think a lot as women, we tend to find that there's a lot of pull her down syndrome where people try to pull you down or drag you down. And we can't have that as women. We've got to be there for each other, because if we have no one else, then who do we have, you know? So I think it's just so important as women to also be authentic about our experiences. Because I think that's one thing, is we're not always authentic with those experiences, like you said, on social media, etc. I see a hand has come up. Lungiswa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for today. It's very inspiring. And I just want to say I'm truly touched by building our own, being our own personal brand. And mostly, I think we normally take for granted how we can build that support network. And I think if you look at different industries that we are in, you will see that there's different organizations that support women. And we don't use most of those because we tend to think that we are busy. And while we're doing that, I'm just realized that I'm one of those. And I'm missing so much stories from other women that can inspire me, my story that I can share. You're missing on opportunities to grow. So thank you very much. You've woken me up and reminded me that there's something that I still need to do to fulfill my potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Lungiswa. I think that's an amazing feedback to receive after.
Sorry, Chanelle, you muted.
Oh gosh, sorry, there we go again. Sorry about that. Lungiswa, thank you. That was such wonderful feedback to receive. And again, as you said, you know, we don't need to, you know, look too far to see that there are people around us that want to support us and want to see us grow. And you as an individual are going to do amazing things to inspire and to prompt others to achieve their goals. And you need to tap into the circles around you, immediately around you. It will be your, you know, it can be your sisters, your cousins, your friends, your colleagues. There's a network of women, as we are here today, that want to see there's a lot of room for all of us to thrive and all of us to excel. So it's truly wonderful that you've taken some insight from today's journey and that you feel prompted to go and to achieve more. And I'm truly touched by that. So thank you for sharing, Lungiswa. I appreciate that. Great. Is there any other questions?
I saw someone named Lindy earlier, but it seems like she's gone. I think it's Chaba or Klaba. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
I think that's why the ladies, most of the colleagues at work call me Tabs, because my name is in Tabeling, but it's quite long.
Oh, in Tabeling. Okay.
It's in Tabeling, yes.
Oh, sorry. Swap
I
them.
think, yeah, for me, Chanelle, thank you so much for being authentic in your story, for owning your story. As you said, we don't get a lot of women who are owning their truth. You know, you shared that in your pregnancy journey, you couldn't find authentic stories because we really want to show up as perfect often, right? So now my question to you is, there's an upcoming conference I'm going to attend. It's called Aspire to be Whole. And really the theme of the conference is around, you know, us being whole as women. But the main question they're asking is, can women have it all? Is there such a thing as having it all? You know, can you be a good mom and be a good exec, be a good wife? You know, is there such a thing? And is that really even something that we should aspire to be? You know, do we want to just have peace and balance, or really do we want to aspire to be great in all areas? Is that realistic? You know, so that is the theme of the conference that, you know, I'm going to be attending. It's an upcoming conference. I don't know what your take is.
I love that. I think, thanks, Tabs. I think that's a very interesting question, and I love that prompt. If someone had to ask me as an individual, is it possible? Is it possible to be a wife, a mother, a career woman? I would say absolutely yes. But that's because that's what I want for myself. I want to be able to take on all those roles, and I want to be able to make it look possible for others. But that's my personal take on it. There might be other women out there who feel that being a mother is sufficient. There are other women out there who may feel that being a career woman is sufficient. Maybe they don't want children. Maybe they don't want to be married. Maybe they're happy just being a girlfriend, you know, or they're happy just to pursue their career. For me, if someone had to ask me that question personally, I would say absolutely yes, it is possible to be all of those things and more. But I do believe that women are, as I said, women are wonders in this day and age. And for me personally, I would like to see myself fulfill all of those roles, but it will vary from individual to individual, depending on what they want and what they feel is part of their calling.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I hope that helps.
It does.
Thanks for sharing that, Tabs. That's going to be very interesting. I see that there's been a lot of feedback in the chat section regarding pregnancy. So I'm feeling a lot more at ease. So thank you all for making me feel like I'm not alone in this journey. My baby's sitting here kicking me as we talk. I think he or she, I don't know the gender yet, he or she's very excited with all of the comments, knowing that mommy wasn't alone in all the stress and struggles that she's gone through the last 5 months. So thank you, ladies, for also being so open and honest with me. I'm going to save all of these comments and read through them a little bit later over my lunch. Any other questions?
Chanelle, I think one of the questions that did come up was that now that you've sort of passed your first trimester, sorry, I'm trying to go all the way back to that question, but it was more centered around the fact that now that you sort of have passed your first trimester and now you're trying to get sort of on top of things and all of that, like how, you know, what is some advice or guidance that you can give to everyone who are pregnant and going through this journey?
I would definitely say for me, it would be, again, to utilize my support network. I have relied a lot on my team at this point in time, because there are certain things physically and mentally that I just can't take on at this point in time. Looking after my mental health is obviously number one. I can't be stressed and I can't be anxious all the time because of continuous deadlines or continuous obligations at work. So I've relied and I've depended heavily on my team over this period, and thankfully they've been extremely understanding and extremely supportive. I've also relied heavily on my husband. God knows that he's been cooking and cleaning and doing housework for the last 5 months, and may the Lord bless him, because I couldn't do it myself. There was a time in the first trimester where I couldn't even smell take the smell of opening the fridge, let alone doing cooking or doing dishes. So I've had to humble myself, because I'm a control freak and I'm a perfectionist. I like to be able to take on everything and do it myself. So I've learned that I need to let go. a lot and I need to surrender. I've also learned that we need to embrace change. We need to allow ourselves to go through seasons gracefully. I've had, as I said, many complications up until this point in the pregnancy, where I've had to cancel business trips overseas, personal trips. I've had to surrender to say that this is a part of my life now that I'm in, and I've got to make changes, and I've got to be okay with that. I've got to accept those changes gracefully and embrace them. This is, like I said, I'm entering a new season now, and there will be a lot. A lot of changes and a lot of frustrations, I suppose, but just giving yourself grace to know that it's part of the journey has been my saving grace up until this point. So I hope, I'm not sure who asked that question, but I hope that gives you some insight as to how have felt the last 5 months getting to this point.
Perfect. There was another hand that came up with, I see they're gone, it was Deaton. So we'll move on to Alfreda.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Yes, it's Lindy. I heard Chanelle speaking about advocacy. So how much can we differentiate between personal advocacy and being pompous? I just want to see to understand the line, because to me there's a very thin line between the two concepts. Thank you.
There is a thin line. I think, thank you for that question. I think that's, again, it's probably a question that's on most people's minds. There is a very fine line between being assertive and being confident and being bombastic and overconfident. But I think it comes down to being authentic and speaking from where the message is coming from. I think that when we're real and when we are open and honest, people don't see us trying to be boastful, but they actually understand that there was a story behind the message that we're trying to give when we speak about our successes and we speak about our accomplishments. I think many people forget that there's a story that happens behind the scenes that's extremely important to highlight. And the only way we can do that is by communicating gracefully and confidently, but also clearly about the purpose of why we're sharing our accomplishments and sharing our achievements without coming across too arrogant in that aspect. So again, it's a juggling act. The way we communicate and the way we use our body language, it is quite an in-depth subject that we could hopefully maybe touch on in the future. But again, it's using all those aspects, the way we present ourselves, the way we speak, the way we verbalize, to not come across too arrogant, but more confident and assertive. So I hope that answers your question, Lindy. Although it's a complex topic, I'd be happy to chat to you privately and assist you with that going forward.
Thank you, Chanelle. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Of course.
I think also what maybe just to add on that sort of question is also the fact that we need to look at our definition of what is considered assertive versus overly confident or arrogant and things like that. I think the definition that is often used for women is very different to what is used for men. And it's not to knock, that sort of system, but understanding that, for a woman to be assertive, it comes across to other people that you're acting in a particular manner. And it's usually the narrative that is used in society that tries to display women as the crazy woman who's overly emotional, etc., etc. So we've just got to be very mindful of the rhetoric that's used in our spaces more often than not, because often the rhetoric is to make us sound a little bit more hysterical, when in reality, us being assertive is just us trying to stand our ground. So I think it's also just, I think it's that's why it's, I think, such a complicated thing. It depends on the space you're in, how people view the behavior, how educated people are on the behavior, etc., etc. So I think something that also really helps is a bit of self-awareness, but also emotional intelligence with the people around us and also within ourselves.
Absolutely, Nicolette. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Perfect. Alfreda, I think your hand was up also. Alfreda, if you're not going to answer, then I'm moving on to the next person. Okay, Motai. Okay, I see Linda, we just spoke to you. Nicole?
Hi there.
Yes.
I'm going to speak as nicely as everyone else. Yeah, to actually put it in perspective what I want to say. But I think it is important to note because I find there's a lot of talk around mental health, and there's not actually. I still feel that it's not really recognized or acknowledged, and I find like when you're in that space, like a lot about what we spoke about today, what triggered me about the conversation was looking after yourself, exercising, socializing a bit more. And I found like with the pandemic, when you're kind of forced into that isolation space, a lot of things brewed for me personally as a female. I was in depression, I was on medication, I gained excessive weight. It's all things that plays a part of kind of stagnating you and limiting you from moving forward or improving yourself or trying to look for ways to become a better person. So I think it's important for people to realize also when you're in that state to not be too hard on yourself, but because I mean, I've been in that state for over a year, I've gained over 20 kilos, all of those things. And I find that only now I'm slowly coming out of it. I've had people tell me, oh, you need to go out more, you need to stop laying around, you need to stop doing this, you need to stop doing that. But I couldn't get myself out of that slump. So now I'm slowly doing things. It's still hard. Sometimes I have to speak to myself for 2 hours just to go and do something. But I think it's also important to remember to be kind with yourself and to know that if you're not moving too quickly or as quickly as you would like to just make that small changes, like take a walk or, like you said, read a book. Find things that kind of like encourage you so that you can start moving forward into the direction that you'd like to move into. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. That was extremely touching. And I think it's extremely important, as you said, to be in touch with your vulnerability. And as women, as you said, we're doing the best that we can. So thank you very, very much for being so vulnerable and for openly sharing your personal story with us. Again, by sharing our vulnerability, you actually give hope to others and you can empower others that are going through similar situations. So thank you very much for sharing. I'm truly grateful that you did.
Okay, so sorry guys, I know that we're going a little bit over time. Chanelle, do you have time for just the last 3 questions?
Yes, I've got time, no problem.
Okay, Eureka.
Yes, mine is not a question. I just want to say my husband has got such a nice way. He always says, women can do anything. And he doesn't call me, he says I'm his Swiss Army wife, not a Swiss Army knife. I'm a Swiss Army wife. And I think that's so cool because he says women can just do anything.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm already a fan of your husband. He's a very wise man.
Yeah, he is, definitely.
And he's 100% right. I share the same feelings. I feel that women are capable of doing anything. And it's up to you to decide what you want to do.
Yes, no, absolutely.
To the best of your ability. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
His Swiss wife.
Okay. Deaton or Deaton? Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong.
No, sorry, it's Liesel. So we're just using the company name to access the Teams.
No worries.
But Chanelle, hi. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to actually be part of this in terms of trying to understand and, like you say, realign where we are. As women, sometimes we just need a reminder that, like who we are and the essence of woman. And we're all watching at our space at work and our place of employment at MQ'd employee benefits. But the the fact that really stood out for me is obviously we're all going on this journey, okay, and we're all trying to understand where we fit in. And you said to advocate yourself using social media. And the thing is, for me, become your own personal brand is important. But as confident as you may be, okay, as any woman may be, becoming your own personal brand is something that is challenging for me because I wouldn't know where to start. How do you start? How do you, I mean, I've got friends on social media who are doing like the fact that they have kids. Others are doing being brand ambassadors for products. Like, how do you become your own personal brand? Like, what is it that you need to start with?
I love that question, Deton. Thank you so much. Is it Deton or Deton?
Deton, yes.
Deton, stunning name. I love that question. And like I said during the talk, building your own personal brand is quite a complex topic that we would actually, I'm happy to have a one-on-one with you or going into a private session with you, but it's something that a lot of people are interested in because nowadays with the new digital era, building your own personal brand is showing to be a very viable way of putting yourself out there as an authentic individual. But starting from a starting point, it's very difficult to sometimes find your niche. I'll tell you honestly and openly that I've been working on building my own personal brand for several years, and I still have no clue what my niche is. I know that I love marketing. I know that I love nature. I love traveling, but it's hard to define yourself when you've got so many interests and passions. So I understand. I understand your frustration in trying to build a personal brand when you've got so many interests and no specific niche. I get that totally, but it's understanding yourself as an individual. And for me, where I started was I actually took some time reflecting. I took a couple of days off during my annual leave in December, and I started writing down who am I? Who am I as an individual? Apart from being a marketing director at a global brand, who am I? What do I love? What am I about? What are the things that I love doing when no one's watching? And it's a good prompt to start yourself and write down the things that give you cues that motivate you to get up every morning and that give you a little bit of zest for life. Is it photography? Is it cooking? Is it being with your family? Is it makeup? Is it talking? Is it presenting? There's so many aspects, and women, like I said, are multifaceted. So sometimes it's hard just to pick one. And that's okay. Start building your brand with all of the talent and the skills that you are as an individual, and start highlighting those areas. And sometimes a niche comes naturally. Other times your brand needs to be multifaceted, and it needs to be something that's broader and that shows your authenticity as a real woman. You could be in corporate, but you like to pursue photography on the side. You may be a mother, but you have interests in fashion. So, again, there's so many ways that you can look at it and start building a personal brand. But it is quite an in-depth subject, and it requires a session on its own. But that's a good starting point, just to sit down and to reflect about who you are as an individual and what makes you motivated to get up every day and what you love and who you are when no one's watching.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I hope that helps.
Also, something to add, I would also like to say, I'm actually putting in the chat as well, is there's this concept called multipotentiality. And it basically means that you don't actually have to sit and define yourself to one category or one box.
Because that's a bit difficult, especially when you're like, it's broad.
That's okay. I think we learn to be very linear in the way that we identify ourselves. And I think that's where the challenge comes in, is we're kind of forced to be part of one singular box. You're a mom, therefore you do X, Y, and Z. Oh, you're a working wife, then therefore you do X, Y, and Z as well. And the problem is that when you try to put yourself into both boxes, you feel like you actually can't. I think what's really important is just defining who you feel you are from a values point of view. What do you stand for? And does your behaviors then also display what you stand for? with that said, look at what defines you. I think what Chanelle mentioned, what defines you as a person, and understand that if you do want to focus and specialize in one niche, that's fine. But don't feel like you're under pressure to do that only. You're also
I
allowed
think
to try different
society
things.
also, I'm sorry, but I think society also boxes you in.
Yes.
And you're like, so what are you doing? What do you like? What is your passion? And I like various things, and I'm passionate about various things.
Exactly. And that's what makes you you. That's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you so talented. I'll give you an example. I love doing PowerPoint presentations. So does that mean I'm going to make a career out of it? Probably not, but it's okay. It's part of who I am. I love presenting. Is it something that I want to pursue in future? Yes, possibly, but I don't need to define myself and limit myself to the one thing that I love or the two things that I love. I love many things, and that's absolutely fine. It's normal. And it's
at least I'm not alone.
No, not at all. You see, this is what I'm saying. Again, we look at these women on social media and they've got their perfect niche. They've got they're the mom of 3, and their pregnancy journeys are great, and they work out during their exercise. I mean, during their pregnancies, all I could do was like literally reach for a packet of chips. And again, you feel totally inadequate because you should be doing more when you look at other people on social media and you compare yourself constantly. But when it comes to personal brand building, you need to isolate yourself. And as Nicolette said, don't look at the way the world sees it or the way society sees it. You can't box yourself. You are a unique individual, and that's what's going to make your brand unique, is that you are you. And no, that is it's a cliche thing when they say you are a woman and that is your superpower, but you are a unique woman, and that for me is your competitive advantage. Your skills and your strengths and the talents that you bring to the table, it can be many, and the passions that you bring to the table are your competitive advantage.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. This is so insightful. I'm beyond grateful, for the advice that you are, because you feel like you in a time warp almost. Sometimes you do, because you're like, who are you? Liesl, who are you? And now I understand that I can be many, and it doesn't have to be just one. I don't have to just be a mother. I don't have to just be a working mom. I can be something more than just being boxed and categorized as one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And something I'll even just relay. I know we don't have too much more time, but I'll relay my own personal experience with this. I did a career assessment when I was young because I loved doing everything, because I was one of those people. And in the career assessment, the person looked at my results and they were like, you could literally, with your marks and everything, you could do anything. I was like, yeah, I know I could do anything. I don't know what I want to do. And then they were like, well, you seem to be really good with helping people, but you're also very artistic. So you can pick either one. Or you can try to do a combination of the two. So I went into organizational psychology because I wanted to help people. And now we picked up that I have quite a good affinity towards graphic design. So my job actually entails a lot of organizational psychology and graphic design. So it's actually married the two. And it actually works out perfectly, because that's just something and it works with us as a business. And it's nice to also be in an environment where you're supported in that way, where they say, well, you've got this talent, you love it, so let's just run with it too. So you don't always have to stick. And I think that's another thing that a lot of academics do, is you think that, oh, because I studied this, then I'm stuck. You're not. You're allowed to try out so many different avenues. It will help and enhance you more than anything. So don't feel like you have to refine yourself. You have so much opportunity. So have the audacity to try.
I love that. I love that.
Wow. I'm going to write that down and have that for like my mantra. Have the audacity to try. Thank you.
I love it. That's brilliant. And I think, as Nicolette said, it's very important to remember that we don't need to box ourselves. We are, as humans, we're constantly evolving. And as women, we're constantly evolving. What interested us yesterday might not interest us tomorrow. So we need to keep evolving and keep changing from season to season. So I love that, Nicolette. I'm definitely going to write that down as well.
Lucille?
I know we're running out of time, but just a quick question, and I'm going to piggyback off the question that was just answered now. As women, we are many, we do everything and we are excellent at what we do, but how do we find a balance in being mom being a career woman, being a wife or a partner, satisfying all these needs of others without losing ourselves or being burnt out in between. Because at times we busy with the kids or studying or seeing to hubby, etc., etc. And then we stop and we like, who are we? You know, in all of this. So how do we find a balance without feeling guilty of neglecting one of our many roles?
Again, brilliant question. I'm looking at Nicolette for this one because we answered something similar in our last seminar, and I think I asked Nicolette the same thing when I spoke to her about my pregnancy and about the challenges I was facing. And finding a balance is somewhat, or seeking a perfect balance is somewhat also impossible, and it's unrealistic to a certain extent, because you need to remember that during different seasons, certain things are going to be priority and certain things are going to take a back seat. So during this point in my life, my pregnancy is my priority and my career might be taking a back seat. So Nicolette, I know that we chatted about this, so if you want to elaborate more, you are the expert in this topic, so please elaborate more for us.
So I think the main thing is that we need to sort of, first and foremost, I think there needs to be a certain level of self-awareness. So I need to be aware of what my body is telling me is wrong. Am I okay? Am I not okay? The second thing is then to start setting boundaries, because by setting boundaries, you set a precedent. If you are always readily available for every single person at all times of the day, then people are expecting that from you. And I think that's where the pressure comes in, is that I don't want to disappoint this person because I know that last time I was doing X, Y, and Z. But I think from the moment you start setting boundaries and say, look, I do need 5 minutes for myself. I do need 10 minutes. When I get home from work, I'm going to do my duties. And then from between 8 and 9 o'clock, this is my time. You know, so setting boundaries is the next step, which is the hardest step, I think, for a lot of people, because you don't want to disappoint the people around you. But at the same time, my argument for that is that if you are giving to people consistently, you are pouring out of your cup. If no one is filling your cup, then what do you have to give at the end of the day?
Your cup becomes empty.
You become empty, and then it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to your family, it's not fair to your kids or to the people around you when you have nothing left to give, because you are no longer present for them. So at the end of the day, it does help everyone by setting that boundary. Another thing that's really good is booking an appointment with yourself. It sounds weird, but book an appointment. Like you have a doctor's appointment, you can't change it. You book that appointment with yourself and say, this is a non-negotiable. I'm not moving my time. Unless there's an emergency, this is not moving out of my diary, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. The next thing is, when you do decide on an activity to use, remember, it's not about the time spent, because a lot of people think self-care takes a lot of time. It's not about the time, it's about the quality of the work that you're doing in that activity. So for example, I started my journey with doing a 30-minute boxing session once a month. Think about that in the course of not once a month, once a week. Think about that in the course of a month. That's what, 2 hours a month that I'm spending on self-care. That's all I needed for me for my journey.
And that's not much at all.
It's not much at all. I'm not asking for anything really from that point of view. So you can build in 30 minutes a week. You can build in maybe an hour a week, even if you split it up according to 15-minute intervals. But what's important is, does it work for me? Does it help my body? Does it make me feel good? Does it help me mentally, physically, and spiritually? If it does, then that is more than what you need. So once I realized I could have capacity to add another thing, I started doing once every 2 weeks a 15-minute, or not 15, a 30-minute meditation as well. Some people replace that with prayer, 30-minute prayer. Again, an hour a week. We're asking for 4 hours a month. Is that much? It's really
not at all. Not at all.
So focus on adding quality to your schedule and book an appointment with yourself and set that as a boundary and say, this is my time and this is for me, even if it's just half an hour this week or half an hour. And it's okay if it doesn't happen this week. You can regain it again next week. Just the most important thing is just setting those boundaries, in my opinion, is important.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much for the explanation. I'm going to try that. Let's see how it goes.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you all so much, ladies and gents. If there were any gentlemen on here today, thank you again to Nicolette and the whole team from Reality Wellness. It was truly inspiring and a privilege to share all of our insights and our feedback today. I hope that you have a thriving Women's Day and Women's Month tomorrow and going forward. I hope that you all spend some time reflecting and finding out ways to unlock your potential. So thank you all so much from my side. I would love to stay on here and chat all day.
Thank you all so much. We do apologize that we have to leave now. I know there's a few more questions, but please just relay them to me, and then I will just relay them to Chanelle to answer any further questions.
Please do, and stay in touch on social media. Good luck with the competition as well, guys. We'll keep you updated on the winner.
Thanks, Chanelle.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Nicole.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nix.